Hello there, and welcome to my review on The Mandalorian, Chapter 10, The Passenger. Honestly, there is not much to say about this episode. This episode starts out as he's heading back to the hangar to get his ship to leave, and it seems like they just had to throw in the fact that he's still being hunted to remind you that there is still a bounty out for him. So as he's traveling there, a trap seems to have been set for him. It seems strange to me that these bounty hunters seemed to know that he would be going right past this spot at this exact time. Of course, they were still setting up by the time he got there, but it just seemed way too coincidental for my taste. I was rolling my eyes at some of the aspects of it. There honestly wasn't much to say. It kind of ditches the Wild West feel. What I did like about the episode is they started to introduce more aspects, more races, and one thing I had an issue with was where everyone could speak the same language. There wasn't a dialogue back and forth, or one speaks one language and then they understand. I did enjoy the fact that they introduced a language that Mando couldn't speak, and I would have actually preferred it better if not a single human could speak that language too. But, of course, there had to be one who could translate for him. I'm against that. I do not see how that matters. I love the aspect of where you can speak a language and another person be able to understand it and understand you because they can understand that you cannot speak their language, but they have learned to hear what you say. It's becoming kind of an annoyance. It reminds me every single time of that stupid scene in Solo where Han is starting to speak Wookiees. I never liked that. There are many problems with that movie, but that was like one of the biggest issues I had. As soon as they introduced that, I was like, nope, 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 not Han Solo. I know it's possible to understand other people's languages without knowing exactly how to speak it. It is possible. I had roommates from Germany, France, China. I could come to understand what they were saying in their native tongue based off not only some of the words, but also their motions, their movements, their reactions to what I would say. We could understand each other. Even though there was a language barrier, we learned to understand each other. And I love that aspect in Star Wars. You didn't always need subtitles. Of course, Jabba the Hutt had subtitles and a translator. But Luke couldn't speak Hutt, but Jabba could understand Luke. So basically in the episode, as soon as it finally kicks off, he is tasked with taking an alien to another planet. They're not able to use light speed, so they have to travel a more dangerous route because they could easily be set upon by pirates. I was hoping to get some action in space. I was hoping to get more than what I got, I guess. It was too limited because it was basically Mando, more time with Baby Yoda, which is probably why I preferred the previous episode, because we got barely any time with Baby Yoda. It didn't focus around him, but they decided to focus on him more in this episode. I do enjoy it because it's the closest thing to Star Wars we've seen in years. However, they're playing it safe. They're going way too simple, way too concise of a script. Honestly, one thing that I think would have helped this episode out a lot more is to have turned it into a horror. They should have shortened the space between the start of the episode to where it actually picks up in the third act, but actually make it primarily about what's going on in the third act. Make it more of a horror than what it was. It just seemed like they needed something to pick up because the episode was going way too slowly. They just needed to throw something in there. And sure, I did enjoy seeing another aspect of a world, and sure, if you're going to go through space and land on planets, it does make sense. There are creatures out there, but the fact that he just happens to stumble across this, well, what's there, it just seemed to me like if you're going to go that route, just commit to it and go full horror. Make it scary, make it about survival, not so much what it was. Because it got all the way to the third act and then it decided to go this route. I was actually thinking that, oh, okay, finally. I didn't even notice it was going to be the third act. It was so slow, so drawn out. I was assuming it was going to run to be another 50-minute episode, so I was like, okay, this is finally going to start getting into that territory. Nope. They instantly take care of the issue right as it occurs. It just seems that this episode didn't need to be here. It didn't serve a real purpose. It doesn't seem like there's an actual story going on. It seems like they're just throwing objectives to the wall and trying to make something stick, trying to fill the void. They're going back to they did in the first season where there's filler. There are pointless episodes that don't really serve a purpose. At least this one did flush out more races, flush out more, not really more characters, but showed other languages. But I'm really starting to get tired of them playing it safe. The first episode, Chapter 9, it was playing it safe, but they still went all out on introducing the Sand People. It reminded me of playing Knights of the Old Republic. Honestly, there isn't much for me to say about this episode. I enjoyed it, but it was also a massive disappointment to me because it seemed to be building up to something. There seemed to be an actual story. He's trying to find the Coven of Mandalorians. And they had to throw this episode in between to cut the story short, or to fill the void between the actual story getting to that place, because they know that they can't fill enough time in the season. And I do understand a show always has that, but they shouldn't have focused on one character if that was the case. The episode was worth watching just really for the last 10 minutes. They don't really introduce anything new, anything major. It's just it's not even worth watching it for the last 10 minutes of action. There's a scene where he's trying to close the door, and I was wondering why he didn't use his flamethrower right away, only to let several things creep in, and then he has to turn around before deciding to look around and analyze the room before turning back to the door and using a flamethrower to allow the door to shut. I really hope that this is just the slow-paced episode after Chapter 9, because it really can't stick like this. If this is what's to come of Season 2, then there isn't much hope left for The Mandalorian for me. Thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you in another video. Toodles!